Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. This is around the blockchain, and if you like making money in crypto, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we got a great show for you today. Oh, is that a good one? We have Jebb. He doesn't stand for riches. He stands for the little man. And we also have, backed by popular demand, it is Tommy Talk time. That is right, Justin, our VP of NFT development. Right around the corner, too. Not this Justin. Make sure you give him a follow. Also, this is actually my favorite altcoin twin. I know I said it was Aaron, but I've since I'm taking it back. It's clearly Austin. It's definitely awesome. And Ben Armstrong, don't worry, you can't catch him napping. He's the hardest worker in all of crypto. That is right. And
Shut up, DZ. I took a nap today. Sue me.
He was resting his eyes, folks. He was resting his eyes. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about, is Bitcoin going green? We're going to talk about some ETH dApps. And I know, let's go ahead and hit that like if you're in the XRP army. We have XLM versus XRP. 2 coins enter. Who's going to leave? I don't know. But we're going to, before we get into that, we're going to look at the market watch here. It's been a little bit of a flat day. You know, we had that huge pump. Everybody was, oh my God, you know, Bitcoin's up a couple thousand. Bull market's back on. It was a little bit of a retracement, and now it looks like it's kind of largely going flat. Looking at Bitcoin right now, it looks like it's at 32,250. ETH, though, is holding above 2,000. Looks like right now it's at $2,019. So we're seeing some good moves there. XLM up almost 20%, and that's one of the things we're going to be talking about later. Trading above a quarter right now. We've talked about this coin over and over. Axie Infinity, it was up almost 30% at one point, and it is that coin is just going crazy. All those gaming coins, they just been popping off. But speaking specifically on you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I want to take it to you, Jebb. What is it that you're seeing in the markets today? Does it look like that little bit of a downturn was just a needed relief, or do we have more pain coming our way?
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I personally don't think we're done with our downwards movement right now. By the way, I'm at my home because I am quarantined because I have COVID, but I am here. I probably can't say that on stream, so I'm not going to say it again. Anyway, Bitcoin right now has some downtrending levels of resistance that is right below around $32,500. I personally would be very surprised if it was able to break north out of those levels. Ethereum is in a very similar position, although Ethereum has a downtrend with its resistance around $2,120. I don't think that Bitcoin or Ethereum are going to be able to break above those. I think that we have seen that Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think that they both need to pull back below $30,000 for Bitcoin and below about $1,800 for Ethereum. And the reason I think that is because we've seen the market bottom out around these levels of around $30,000 on Bitcoin, $2,200 or $2,000 on Ethereum, 8-9 times. And at the same time, we're setting lower highs and lower highs and lower highs. And we just don't normally see that happen without breaking the level of support. We've tested it over and over and over again. If you hit a level of support that many times, it's normally going to break. So I'd be surprised if we managed to hold here. I think for the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to be going into more downtrending territory.
Yeah, from a trading perspective, the more times that you hit a level of support, a level of resistance, the weaker it becomes. So that's what he was referring to there. But let's go. Speaking of Bitcoin, let's go to Bitcoin. Is it going green? You know, is this a narrative that just permeates the airwaves? It's one of the main topics when people bring up Bitcoin, especially when it comes to FUD. Oh, it's bad for the environment, but really, some people say no, it's good for the environment. There's reasons for both sides to believe what they're saying, but a number of these leading mining firms, they're starting to make a large push towards going towards green energy. There's a publicly traded company, it's a North American company, it's called Bitfarms. They actually account for about 1.5% of the hash power of Bitcoin, and they said they were successful in their efforts to get 99% clean energy. Justin, I'm gonna bring it to you since you're the VP. You're one of those business guys. You're not just two kids in a trench coat playing pretend here. You're the real deal. Is the bottom line the only thing that matters for these companies? Are they doing this just for, the narrative sakes? Looks we can't hear. You might need to put on the headphones. You have to put on the headphones.
Is this Justin's first time, or?
he's new. He's new around here. He doesn't know how to handle it. You know what I mean?
Both the altcoin twins coming in for the blood.
No, I like
there's
Justin.
old beef. There's old beef between Justin and Aaron. And
Yeah,
now
exactly.
Austin's
It's the
saying,
altcoin
I'm
versus
taking
the
up the
NFT.
mantle. We're gonna let Justin.
I'm a fan of Justin. I will say it.
Okay.
Not this Justin though.
Yeah,
we'll
not
let him,
this
Justin
guy.
that can talk.
We'll let him
You know,
figure
you
out
call
his.
someone who can't talk.
Yeah, we'll figure out his technical difficulties in a little. A little bit. If anything, this is good content. I'll let you. I'll let you jump in, altcoin. Do they just care about the bottom line, or is there a real reason? Like, do they actually care about the environment?
I mean, primarily it's a business, and they care about the bottom line first and foremost, because nothing happens if they don't get a profit for their investors or just for themselves. But ultimately, you can do both. And for everybody that watched Michael Saylor's North American Bitcoin Mining Conference presentation for Q2, which was about 2 weeks ago, the stats that him and the North American miners presented was surprisingly around 67% of miners, at least the ones that have joined this group, so primarily North America, 67% are green, which was surprising. And Michael Saylor even said this was surprising to us. And he did talk about an actionable plan that they are moving. They do a plan to get even more green by using more hydro, more solar in the next 5-10 years. Of course, that does not matter to the other, maybe 50-60% that are not in the North American Bitcoin Mining Council. So they had to guess. But what we have just seen, about 3 days ago, this came out, for the fourth time in a row, so the fourth time in 8 weeks, the hash rate dropped. Bitcoin became more easier to mine as hash rate dropped off the network, and it's almost 50% down almost from where it was 8 weeks ago. And we know why. It's because miners are leaving China by force and have to set up shop in other places that green energy matters more to them. So Bitcoin mining is getting greener. It doesn't have to, but it's way better for the environment. In my opinion, Bitcoin would go on whether it was green or not, because obviously nobody cares about Christmas lights. Nobody cares about the banking system, but obviously people care about the earth. So it's best for both parties, and Bitcoin is getting greener.
Yeah, people care about the earth, not just Captain Planet and co. Although I'm full of heart. Earth. Wait, I know
Can
there's
you
some
guess
other
hear
words
me
there.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, I remember my
By
first
the way,
time
I heard
streaming.
everybody. I heard all the comments,
no.
and you making fun of me. So I'm going to disconnect.
Easy to do.
We'll bring it to you. So there's other examples. BitMEX, they're saying they're going to go carbon neutral. Marathon Digital Holdings, it trades under MARA. I believe on the New York Stock Exchange. They have a goal of 70%. They said they're going to hit in the near future. So Bitcoin, we clearly have a branding problem when it comes to pushing the narrative that like, hey, we're actually trying to help make energy go greener by incentivizing these green sources, whether it's hydroelectric, whether it's solar. So I'm gonna bring it to you, Justin. How do we get the message out, since you are the big businessman? How, if you're running one of these, say you're running a marathon, how would you get the message out that yes, we are trying to help everything go carbon neutral?
Well, I mean, I would just hit it with all the marketing I can, number one. But number two, like the green, carbon neutral narrative is just something that is never going to be able to be solved 100%. It's just something, I think I said it on this show before. It's just something that's always going to be kind of a ace in the pocket as far as, wanting to FUD the market. It's just one of those things. It's stretched across all global politics. It's definitely in this country of politics, and now it's in the crypto market. It's something that's just used for divisiveness and FUDding in this case. So I don't think there's really a solution at all that can be had. I think we can make some strides, which I think we are doing that. There's some ways to clean it up and all that, but to totally solve the green solution, I don't think is going to be something that we're going to be able to do 100% of the time. But as far as getting the message out, you just hit it on all fronts. You just market it and talk about it and come up with creative ways to do it and get out and promote it.
Yeah, I think I agree. As long as there's dirty ways of making electricity, whether it's say burning coal, and I believe you're an expert on that. You got lumps of coal for Christmas growing up, I believe you said. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Okay.
20 years I did.
Been new. As far as Wow, there's some bad kids.
I'm not even kidding. I got a bag of charcoal one year.
Oh wow, I can't imagine that. I imagine you behaving yourself. I'm not.
Well,
saying
for Jebb,
for
Jebb, it was just 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, I have a picture of my graduation right here.
Oh, look at that.
That was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
There's actually a good picture of Jebb, if you're wondering. Look at him
coming for you.
cutting down trees.
Gosh.
Wait
Is this a horror movie?
I'm seeing a whole other side of Jebb here. Maybe he's not so eco-friendly. I don't know. All right, so a lot of these, green energies, we have hydroelectric, we have solar, we have wind, but we know gold uses a lot of energy. How come, Ben, I'll ask you, how come gold doesn't get this negative FUD? Is it because we're talking about energy too much? Should Bitcoin should we just shut up when it comes to energy? How do we fix this?
No, it's because the financial cartel that runs everything is behind gold. I mean, they actually set the prices in the London Bullion Exchange every single day. They rig the prices. The prices of gold have been rigged for quite a while, as a lot of people know. Silver, it's a different story, but also rigging. There's a lot of links between the bond market and the gold market, and they need gold to do well at certain times, right? So what you're seeing right now is you're seeing Bitcoin get fudded because that financial cartel, the central bank cartel, they don't want Bitcoin to run away right now. They need to keep the prices down. They've been doing it for a while. They will go up at some point, but then as soon as we get to the end of this bull cycle, we will get pushed down again, and there will be FUD all throughout next year about Bitcoin mining again. It's a cyclical narrative that comes up over and over and over again. If you look at the raw numbers and raw facts,
you like it raw
Bitcoin,
too.
Baby, I like it raw. The facts. If you look at actually the raw numbers between Bitcoin mining versus physical brick and mortar banks, ATM networks, and gold mining, Bitcoin uses less than all of those. Not only that, but Bitcoin's the only one that is continuously getting greener as time goes on, because there's a lot of focus. I think ultimately, as we see a lot of times, what a lot of these people mean for harm and damage turn out to be good things for Bitcoin because it is so resilient. Bitcoin is going to get to the point where it's like probably the greenest thing on earth, because to kill this narrative that's bad for the environment, because it's not about Bitcoin being bad for the environment. It's about Bitcoin being good, being a net positive, bringing 31% of the world that's unbanked into the financial system, and whether that's through Bitcoin or crypto in general or a specific coin or Cardano, whatever the case may be, like that's the ultimate goal. The net positive is much better than the net positive that comes with gold mining or comes with brick and mortar banks. So I think it's pretty easy to see that this is going to be a big L for the people trying to FUD Bitcoin. And just like the muskrat, what a scammer, am I right? He's going to come out and says, well, now we've actually done our due diligence on Bitcoin mining, and now we see the numbers are actually better than we thought we were. You're an electric company. You're a green company. You didn't do your due diligence before you bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. What a joke. Get out of here.
Yeah. That's just definitely a joke narrative for sure. Chat wants to know if Justin is Meatloaf's son. Okay, I can maybe see it a little bit. Speaking of Justin,
what does that mean?
Stranger Things. That's the
Paradise.
Stranger Things is pretty funny.
The singer Meatloaf?
Yeah, the singer.
No, the food, right.
Justin. The meat.
So speaking of, Justin was just in South America. He flew over a lot of rainforests. He was basically in the middle of the rainforest. Jebb, I want to bring it to you. 2 questions. Do you just hate the rainforest? I saw you with the chainsaw on fire. That was clearly real and not doctored. But more serious
that was real.
question.
That was dead real.
More serious question.
No, I'm not kidding. That's real.
Is there ever a point where Bitcoin uses, no matter how clean it is, it just uses too much power, where even if 99.9% is coming from renewable sources, if it just uses too much power, is that just going to still count against it?
No, and the reason that I don't think that ever will happen or even can happen is because the thing that stops oh my gosh, I can't even focus and talk with that playing. The only thing that will ever stop Bitcoin, the thing that would stop that from happening is that Bitcoin, I completely lost my train of thought, is that Bitcoin And its power usage is dictated by supply and demand economics. The amount of power that is being used versus the amount of hash rate. I can't even look at chat because it's going to distract me with all the laughing going on. Oh my gosh, BJ. Anyway, Bitcoin's what was it? Can you restate the question?
Is there ever a point where Bitcoin uses too much power, where it's 20% of all electricity is being used for the blockchain?
Right. No, first of all, no, I don't think it would ever be that high. Second of all, if it was ever that high, it wouldn't be a problem because our currency is one of the foundations of modern civilization. And number three, I don't think that it ever will be a problem because the more power that you use, naturally, the more expensive that power is going to be. So the more difficult that it is to get that power because it's more expensive. So there's a natural equilibrium here where the market is going to make the price of the miners and of the electricity exponentially higher as you start to use so much of it. So it's going to auto-regulate itself, similarly to the way that the supply of gold auto-regulates the price of gold. And also, I want people to keep in mind one thing about the price of electricity in gold in Bitcoin mining is that to get value, you have to put work in. There's nothing created or destroyed in economies. To get value into the Bitcoin network, you have to give up value. You give up that value by paying for electricity. That's how we create and generate value in the Bitcoin ecosystem in the first place. The same way you generate value in gold by mining it, or you generate fiat value by taking over half the world and declaring yourself the sovereign. That is how you go about increasing the value of a commodity, is you have to inject value in it some way. So I don't think we'll ever see a time where it's using way too much electricity, because if it ever got to that point, free market economics, which is what Bitcoin was designed to support and be the foundation of, will stop it from being mined any more heavily than it already is.
Well, I also never thought I'd see Jebb wielding a chainsaw with flames licking the background, and you've never looked cooler. You've never looked cooler. All right, we're going to go to the second topic here, ETH dApps. So while we had the B word, and also reminds me, no, I'm not even going to say it. While the B word conference went off yesterday, there's actually another talk that took place on the same day, but just a different time zone. Vitalik Buterin, or as Ben calls him, Butterin, he spoke at a conference in Paris where he was talking about Ethereum, he was talking about dApps, he was kind of lamenting how there's too much. There he is with the shirt straight from BJ's wardrobe. He was saying there's basically too much focus on DeFi. And, Ethereum, it has to innovate beyond just, DeFi dApps for degenerates. He's speaking on, here, the quote he had is, if we start talking about decentralized social media where every tweet becomes an NFT, then that can't work if you have $5.22 transaction fees. But before we get into Ethereum dApps, I want to bring it to you, Altcoin. Oh, God, we had a snafu here. So I'm actually going to choose Justin at the moment. Justin, can you just give a background? What is DeFi for those who aren't super familiar with it?
Yeah. What was going on in Altcoin Daily's picture? Who was that guy?
What the heck?
Like,
is he in prison?
All right.
Is that
I'm
prison
confused.
Right
is that real?
What?
Like, what happened?
We had another guest who showed up late. That's why Justin jumped in. I'm telling him to back out. This is live, folks. If you like live TV and all the crazy things that might happen with it, hit that like button. But yeah, Justin, what is DeFi for those who might not be familiar?
Well, I just Googled Meatloaf to look at a recent picture, and I don't look anything like that guy. So I don't know.
Well, it was in Fight Club, so you got that going for you at least.
God, moves. Yeah, that's real good. What is DeFi? Is that the question?
Yeah. Yes. So, like, just a background for the people who just don't know, like, they barely know what a Bitcoin is. What is DeFi?
DeFi is decentralized finance. I guess one way to look at it is you hear yield farming, staking a token on a certain platform, earning return on that. There's several different spaces in the DeFi space, but it's earning yield is one of the most popular ones. Like almost like, I guess one of the easiest ways to explain it to somebody that doesn't know anything about crypto. One example of DeFi as far as yield farming or staking is similar to when you put your money in a savings account and you earn 0.5% annually. Except with DeFi, you can place your stable coins, which are tethered to the US dollar. So basically it's the same amount. You can stake them on a platform like Celsius or or BlockFi and actually get 8%, 10% sometimes annually. So, and there's no centralization. There's no bank that's in between you and your money making the decisions, making the lion's share of the percent. You're making all of it between the lender and yourself.
Okay.
So,
do you only like it because it involves Tether?
USDC, yeah, I do. Yeah, but you can do it with anything. You can do it with Bitcoin. You can do it with Ethereum. But yes, I love Tether, and I love USDC.
Bullish.
Yeah,
bullish on
your
Tether.
favorite alts. Oh, he's always bullish on Tether.
Bullish.
Austin,
bullish
since you're back, and those are that was Crypto Avances, crypto spelled with the I. If you want to check out his channel, is English speaking, Spanish speaking. He's based out of Germany. We're gonna have to reschedule him, get him on. Maybe had a time zone issue there. How far out, since you have altcoin in your name, and I was scolded by your brother yesterday to not call you by your governments. I must call you Altcoin Daily.
Austin.
I can call you Austin?
We're friends, DZ, you and me.
Yeah, you know what? I was never friends with your brother anyways. Now we got beef.
Dang.
I'm inheriting Justin's beef. How far out is a killer dApp?
I still think they're the same person.
You've never seen them in the same spot at the same time. How far out are we from a killer dApp that you might be able to see like on an Android phone, on a on an Apple App Store? Are we like 5 years away from people just downloading decentralized apps? Vitalik said, right now it can't really have a Twitter that's decentralized if every tweet's going to cost $5. What kind of timeline would you put it before there is some dApp that everybody must have, kind of like a TikTok or an Instagram?
Yeah. I would say it's a great question. And I just want to say, first off, I will not be silenced. Notice how as soon as we get into the nitty gritty on what the future of cryptocurrency could be, they try and silence us. Here at Altcoin Daily, not going to happen to us.
Wait,
but
was that planned?
Question,
Please tell me that.
Cut out.
You definitely got muted for
You cut out.
everybody. If you think Aaron or now I'm saying if you think Austin should wear a tinfoil hat, go ahead and hit that like button.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. It was just for like 2 seconds.
Okay. Anyway,
let's
get back. Let's get back to the issues, because that is why the audience tuned in. We love the banter, but we want to get this perspective as well. I would say I think it's a lot closer than we think. Vitalik did say, let's not focus so much on the DeFi. Let's focus on all the other stuff like decentralized social media, verifiable IP on the blockchain, all that stuff. Let's focus on that. And to me, this is not the perfect analogy, but it's sort of like the inventor of TCP/IP. His name escapes me, but one of the protocols that everybody uses today, if you use the internet, although you don't necessarily know you're using it, it's as if he were to have said in 1997, or maybe 2001, somewhere around there, the internet can be so much more than email, than search engines. And that's in 2001, that's everybody had a web page, they had a search engine, they had email. Little did we know in 2005, the first YouTube video would be uploaded. Little did we know that there would be TikTok and all the social media, and we would be spending the majority of our day on these social media websites just as much as we are outside in the workplace. So I think we're a lot closer than a lot of people think. And all it takes is that killer dApp like an email. And all it takes is somebody to get so upset with Twitter censorship that they say, man, something's got to be better. So it's closer than we think, and we're seeing the infrastructure take place today.
Yeah. So Ben, I'm going to bring it to you real quick. So some of the things that he was mentioning, is talking about the transactions being processed on the Ethereum network. Within the last month, it hit almost an all-time high. It was 1.7 million transactions daily, 1.7 million daily, and then a low of just barely 1 million, and that low was on July 16th. Now, there's other non-DeFi ERC20 tokens. We have Link, there's NFT, there's gaming tokens, there's GRT. What non-DeFi ERC20 tokens would you recommend that might be a good performer over the next couple years?
There's a lot of discussion on whether or not Chainlink is technically DeFi or not. Yeah. I don't think it is DeFi. No, I think of Aave, I think of Compound, I think of projects in that vein. I don't think, you can make an argument that almost every coin is DeFi in some way, and a lot of those coins tried to push that narrative when DeFi was hot. But I got to say Chainlink is the top ERC20 that is not in DeFi that people should be looking at. And we're going to be coming out with our way too early top coins for 2022 video here pretty soon. And there's a great chance that that one's on there because if you look at the history of Chainlink, you see it actually performs better when Bitcoin is not performing well. It actually had a way more massive run up in the bear market than in the bull market so far. So definitely something very interesting to look at with Chainlink. It does a lot. And still, I think there's a lot to be said that while it's not DeFi, it is still linked in some way to DeFi. DeFi projects do use their oracles. I think we're talking about some pretty cool stuff, a new platform we might be working on, and Chainlink would be involved in that because their oracles and their price feeds and things like that you just can't beat. But I do want to say, I want to go to what Austin said, because I think it is, it's pretty good what he said, where he said, we're closer than people imagine. But the thing is, I agree with that on one hand, but on the other hand, I don't agree, because it depends on what your time frame is and how long you're imagining this going. But here's the thing. Ethereum, I think this question of what the killer dApp is a very fundamental question to understanding when crypto will hit an explosion point, because there are problems with Ethereum right now. It is not fast enough. It is too congested. You can't run a game right now on Ethereum, really, because the fees are too high. Now, we need the fees to be more in line with the Binance Smart Chain fees. Very, very, very low. Mm-hmm. This could be the question that could push something like Cardano ahead of Ethereum if someone's able to come up with this dApp that has usage, goes mainstream. People don't necessarily know that it's crypto per se, and the transaction fees are low enough for it to work. So that could be something. It might come from a different ecosystem. Maybe it doesn't even come from Ethereum. Ethereum obviously still has the inside track on that, but we got to see how this EIP 1559 fixes things, and then of course the ETH 2.0 rollout. And if Cardano or Polkadot or Solana or Elrond are able to come up with one of these killer dApps before ETH 2.0 fully rolls out, then Ethereum could definitely have a big problem on its hands.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. You get the Facebook killer that comes on Solana. That changes everything. And as far as Vitalik rapping, I will say Ben's got bars. Ben might be a better rapper than Vitalik. Jebb, we were talking about
easy.
Social media platforms. He said easy. All right, I think we have a rap battle coming up versus Ben Vitalik. It's the next one.
What, by the way, did everybody see Vitalik on Ashton Kutcher's video?
Yeah, he's hanging out.
He's a fan of that 70s show. Big fan.
That 70s show.
Yeah.
All his shirts are straight out of the 70s.
Mila has a NFT. Me and Justin were talking about. It's Stoner Cats, and you buy the NFTs, and it'll give you exclusive access to watch their animated shorts. I'd watch her shorts anytime. So I'm going to bring it to you, Jebb. We were talking about decentralized apps. There are some social media. We stream to Theta. Is there any social media platform that you think can maybe, take the lead here? Is there anything that you use that you might stream on or looking to stream on in the future?
There's nothing currently that I'm using or looking to use, just because there's not a mass market on a lot of them. There is some promising technology, but I'm far from the expert on this panel in it. What I think is very important to remember is that when technologies become mass adopted, be that a decentralized application or throughout the history of human events, you see this with electricity or plumbing or roads or anything. The way that you see something become mass adopted is it becomes a linchpin, and if you pull it out of a system, then other things collapse because other things are built on top of it. That's what infrastructure is. If you think about a building, you have a foundation. If you pull the foundation out, the building stops working. That's what's happening with our fiat currencies. What I think we need to see happen is for some of these projects that are attempting to take on certain social media platforms, and I think they need to realize a lot is built on Facebook. A lot is built on Twitter. A lot is built on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and Snapchat, etc. For a social media platform to really take off as a decentralized application, it's going to need to have other things built on top of it. It's going to need to have an ecosystem that it can plug into. It's going to need to have a lot of people using it, and it's going to need to have a strong use case against the traditional applications. Luckily, you don't have to look very far in cryptocurrency, because the way that you compete with the mainstream applications such as Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube is by saying that you're anti-censorship. The problem is you got to actually make sure that's true, because there are a lot of projects that claim to be anti-censorship, and then what do we see? We see rollbacks, we see centralization, we see hacks that might occur on some of these. So I'm not pointing any fingers, because I'm not like I've said many times, I'm not the foremost DeFi expert here on this panel, but if one of these projects is going to take the forefront, it needs to build a foundation. It needs to build infrastructure that other things can be built on top of so that there can actually be a market grow up around it, is the way I see it.
All right, I like that. Let's go to our final topic here. XLM versus XRP. That's right, Stellar Lumens versus Ripple. I don't know if there's going to be room for both, long term in the future. We can maybe discuss that. It stands. I will give a little background. There's actually a little bit of a connection between the two. McCaleb, I want to say, was his first name Jebb? He helped found Jedd. You know what? I got thrown. I'm staring at Jebb here, so I got thrown off there. He helped found XRP as well as XLM. He kind of had a disagreement with the developers, walked away. A lot of people say, oh, he's I mean, we can see it on the blockchain. He's dumping hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Ripple. It's one of the reasons, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's just these large holders are incentivized to just continue to dump. Stellar Foundation, though, they're looking to acquire MoneyGram, and Ripple has a little bit of a background with that. They invested, I believe, $50 million in it years ago, but then with the SEC pushback, MoneyGram and Ripple are starting to distance themselves, and now XLM is looking to buy MoneyGram, and their market cap, XLM is $6 billion, MoneyGram is $1 billion, so they should be able to afford it. Meanwhile, XRP has a $27 billion market cap, I believe. Justin, I know you love Tether. You love it. It's your favorite coin. They're trying to compete with these stablecoins. After stablecoins, they are adopted in China already. Once it starts to get a little more broad adoption, is there room for Ripple?
As far as stablecoins go?
Yeah, is there even a need at that point?
For Ripple, I don't know. I mean, you're already seeing the traditional finance and centralized banking using quick send applications. I think, what is that one? Zelle or Zelle? I mean, every bank's got a connection with Zelle. I mean, it's almost like, okay, what is it? What's Ripple's use case going to be at some point? If it's just if their whole space is working between banks and banks sending transactions back and forth with each other. I think banks they saw the writing on the wall back in 2017, and they already worked towards that. And you already have applications, centralized applications, that are doing that. So I don't know if there is going to be a great need for Ripple. I know there's a bunch of people who love Ripple, so there'll probably be a bunch of hate in the chat, but I don't know. I guess time will tell.
Altcoin, do you think there will be room for both XLM and XRP in the future, or is this going to be a winner-takes-all market?
Well, not if the SEC has anything to do with it. But I digress. And that was a little joke because in a lot of ways, XLM and XRP are essentially doing the same thing. Yep. I often question why XRP has such a passionate community as well as such a passionate community of haters against them, when in essence, XLM and XRP are going for cross-border payments, kind of specializing in remittance. That's what they're focusing on. And XLM, Stellar, is even more centralized than XRP. And I think it's because, to their detriment, XRP is more transparent and gives people more data points that they can then focus on in terms of where the money is going. For example, with Stellar, we don't know if they sell on the open market or if they ever have, or what they do with their coins, because they don't tell us. Ripple tells you that they do, and people hate them for it. So to me, they're sort of in the same boat. If we're looking at large scale timeframes, can they both exist 20 years?
30 years?
Listen, I mean, XLM, what do we know that they do? We know what XLM does. They burned half of their supply on a dime without telling anybody. The community was very upset by that. There was nothing leading up to it. You want to talk about centralized? They decided overnight they were going to burn half their supply and burn half the supply. Now,
that's what I was saying.
Half of the remaining supply. So we do know what they do with their coins. They just make decisions based on what's better for their pockets at all times, which XRP can certainly be guilty of the same thing.
Oh, Ben, I'm agreeing with you. Stellar Lumens is more centralized. And by the way, the data points that they do give us clearly show that the community doesn't get a say. So in the grand scheme of things, though, to answer your question, can they both exist? I think just like we're seeing with different use cases like smart contract platform and, for the use case of money, in the long run, we're seeing price discovery and people work out exactly how centralized a blockchain needs to be. and what consensus mechanism and what gamification, everything we're trying to figure out. So I would say in 20 years, why would they both exist? Actually, let me rephrase. In 20 years, I have no clue. They could easily both exist. We have Visa and we have MasterCard. I'm going to say no comment.
I want you to be an oracle, not like Chainlink. I want you to divine the future here. Ben, I'm going to bring it to you. Kind of a similar question, is there room for both of those? It seems like they're trying to do, the fast, but it's faster, it's faster. It's doing the same thing, stablecoin can do. It's doing the same thing XLM can do. Aren't they in a way like also competing with the Lightning Network? I mean, at a certain point, like how many of these?
No, the Lightning Network is a joke. It's all a joke. The Lightning Network is a joke. I mean,
that's Doge. That's Doge.
Yeah.
Okay. Are the maxis going to come for us now?
The maxis, if they're not coming for us by now, then it will never watch the channel. So we hate the maxis. Look, here's the thing. The maxis think that the Lightning Network will compete with all of these, far faster, far more advanced platforms, and they just won't. People don't want to spend Bitcoin. I don't know how many times we have to say this over and over again. You don't want to end up like a friend of mine with a mattress that's worth $1 million. Yeah. People realize that. Now, look, if you got plenty of crypto, you don't mind taking some profits. I take profits with my crypto.com card. I'll spend some stuff. I don't think about it down the road like, hey, I bought this, I bought these Super Bowl tickets with my crypto.com card. Now, down the road, it's worth $1 million. I have plenty of crypto, and that's okay. But for most people, they want to hold on to every single dime of crypto they have. And it's hard to sometimes talk people into taking profits that way because the mindset of looking back on how much you could have now versus how much the product how much crypto you spent on the product was worth then, like it's not going to work long term. People in El Salvador realize that they're going to realize they don't want to spend crypto. So Lightning Network is a pipe dream. I mean, look, we do want something to make Bitcoin faster, but not for the reasons why they want it to be faster. This is never going to work. It's never going to be successful. And when we're talking about XLM versus XRP and them coexisting, I think you made a great point, Austin, with, we have Visa, we have MasterCard. I was kind of thinking along the same lines, like we have PayPal and we have Venmo. Now PayPal owns Venmo. I don't know if they always own Venmo. But, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. They both exist. They serve different customers. There is a financial banking cartel that we talk about all the time in the world, directly hooked up to the digital currency group. They control 90% of all the central banks in the world. And so there's another 10% XLM if you guys want to jump on that. Look, XLM has been working with Ukraine possibly about being their stable coin. I do think XLM is going to exist, but it is not the chosen coin. Jedd McCaleb has burned a lot of bridges. There are a lot of people that do not like that guy, including myself.
Yeah, and he might have even had Jebb's help. I think I saw a bridge in the background there. You were there, right?
Jebb and Jedd.
Yeah.
He burned down the bridge.
Burning down bridges
I
left
get it
and right.
I did no such thing.
I would love to see Jedd on Around the Blockchain. I'll say it.
Hey, he can come on. Welcome. It's not going to be a great experience for him, but he can come on.
You're more welcome.
Reach out, Jedd.
Justin, I'm going to bring it to you, Mr. VP here. Because you're such a high level. He actually took off a suit and put on the Tommy. Are you wearing Tommy today?
No, this is American Eagle again. So.
Oh, it's American Eagle.
It's the same shirt. Is it the same shirt?
It might be.
No, it's not the same shirt. I have two American Eagle shirts.
two that he wears every single day. I'm gonna bring it to you. So we have MoneyGram possibly being bitten or bought. They might be bought by this cryptocurrency. Are we going to see this trend develop? Are we going to see more and more publicly traded companies disappear off the stock market as they get acquired by these large, cryptocurrencies? Is this a trend that's going to continue, or is this like, can these things be bigger than Visa and MasterCard?
I don't know if just because they acquire or buy the company MoneyGram, if it means that they're going to be taken off the traditional stock market or trading or any of that. I don't know if anything much will change. They might just be buying it. I don't know. I haven't read the article. I don't think there's, I think a lot of this stuff is just a bunch of, stories that come out. There might not be any validity to it. We'll see what happens if they're going to actually buy it or not. But I don't really see any value. If they change it, I don't know if they're going to have the power to change it just because they buy it into them using, instead of the dollar, using, the XLM token. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this does develop, and we're going to end it with you, Jebb, since you're known for taking down foundations. You're known for taking down the trees. XLM, they're trying to take down the foundational, payment systems. Do you think they're going to, are we stopping at MoneyGram, or is this going to continue?
I think they're going to be a $10 trillion cut. No, it's really, look, the thing is, Bitcoin was created to attack the traditional financial system that doesn't hold our best interests at heart. And the thing that I have at fault with these projects, and it's a two-sided coin, is that they are trying to help the banking system with remittances and cross-border payments and everything. They're trying to help the traditional banking system. That's the thing that I don't like. The thing that I do like is that they're trying to help the traditional banking system, and that's probably going to help other people by bringing down those international remittance payments and everything, making them more efficient. As far as because I really like the question of can there be one or will there be two? I think there's a lot of room in this market that they're both competing for, and I think it would make a lot of sense if both of them were to stick around, because if you look at the vast majority of industries, you'll normally find that there's a do or a triopoly up there. There's normally not just one company. Even on video sharing, there's still YouTube and Twitch. There's Coca-Cola and Pepsi. There's in America, in American car companies, there's Ford and Chevy. So I think that there is a tendency for markets to shift towards a duopoly. So I think there is enough room for XLM and for XRP, but I do wonder about the longevity of them, because if we really believe in DeFi and if we really believe in Bitcoin, why do you need to help speed up cross-border payments and remittances with something like XLM and XRP whenever Bitcoin and DeFi are the things that are supposed to be moving us in that direction anyway? Look, the thing is that, and this is why I'm not a hater of XRP or XLM, but it's also the reason I'm not a big supporter of them, is I think that they, at the end of the day, might be doing something very good for the world, in that they might be bringing down remittance payments and cross-border payments so that people are able to send money to their family members a lot cheaper. Hopefully that's something that is happening. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of the banking system, so I'm not a fan of either one of these projects, and I'm not invested in it, so I don't know a whole lot about how each one of them works, because they're not cryptocurrencies that I personally invest in.
No, you raise a good point with the duopoly, and if you even think about it, there's Visa and MasterCard, and then if you really wanted to, you can even say Discover and, what was it, Diners
American Express
Travel Card or something like that, or Travelers Diner Card. I waited tables. I remember.
Diner Card is actually Discover Card. Like, they're the same company. So Diner is Discover.
Is that the card you use? It seems like something you would hold.
Discover. Yeah, I'm a Discover Diners guy. Yeah.
All right. Hey, you got to get those points.
I've sent money to my wife has sent money to her family and vice versa, back and forth from Colombia, cross border, and there's been no issue, zero fees, and so I personally don't think there's really a need for anything like XRP or XLM in the space. It's already being done, and so it's like I still, when I look at those two projects, I'm like, what are they for? We're already doing it. It's already a reality.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll see articles on that, and they'll say, "Oh, remittance payments could be up to 30% fees," and it's basically a crock of bull.
Guys, you're missing the point though. Like, your wife sent what, $1,000? Like, we're talking about countries moving money. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars moving. That's the purpose that it serves. It's not for somebody sending $1,000 to a different country.
Well, if anyone wants to give me hundreds or thousands of dollars, go ahead, send us a super chat. But that is all we have time for today. It was a great episode. We had a couple issues. We had sound issues. We had Altcoin Daily turned into somebody else. We're not talking about his twin.
We made it through. We made it through.
Burning down trees. And then Ben, still wiping the sleep from his eye. But he came through, and he won. And he won. So, Ben, we're going to give you 30 seconds to tell the people what they need to know.
Well, you got to wake up pretty early in the afternoon to beat me. Okay, that's what I have to say. I just want to say a special thank you today to Theta. We worked with Theta on an NFT drop. Today it's gone very well. There was a brief issue at the beginning with the platform crashing because our community is so big, and that's a big thank you to the BitSquad for. I like that we have that reputation that everywhere we go, we crash platforms, because that's how big our community is. We are the mainstream channel, and just thank you for everybody for supporting our NFT airdrops and our Bitverse punks and the whole thing. We got so much big stuff. We're actually going to start doing an NFT show on the channel we talked about today, where our NFT department, including Justin, led by Justin. I think DZ might be involved in that too. We'll be, helping to show you guys what all we got going on. It's fun stuff.
All right. Well, Bitverse, that is all we have time for today. Thank you for joining in.
This
DZ
guy.
out.
This guy.
Oh my gosh.